What if your body is quietly trying to warn you about something you cannot see but can definitely feel? Now think about this for a moment. If you are over 60, there is one uncomfortable feeling many people ignore in silence. They don't talk about it, they don't question it, they simply accept it. But sometimes, what feels normal is actually your body asking for attention in a very quiet way. You may feel it during your daily routine. Maybe in the morning, maybe after meals, or even while resting. It starts as a small discomfort, something like, things are not moving the way they should. Not sharp pain, not a clear illness, just a strange blocked feeling inside your lower body that you cannot easily explain. And here is what makes it even more confusing. Most people think constipation is just a normal part of aging, something you just live with as you get older, but that is not always the full story. Let me explain something important. There are situations where your body is not just slow. It is actually struggling to clear something that is not moving properly at all, and the strange part is, it can feel very similar to normal constipation at first. That is why so many people overlook it for weeks. Sometimes even longer. In my years of observing digestive health in older adults, I've noticed a pattern most people overlook. It usually does not start suddenly, it builds quietly, a small change here, a mild discomfort there. And slowly the body begins to send repeated signals that something is not right. But because these signals are subtle, they are often ignored. Let's talk about a few early feelings people often describe, without realizing what they could mean. First, you feel pressure, but nothing really comes out. You sit there thinking, it should happen now. But your body doesn't respond the way you expect. Second, there is a constant urge to go, but it never feels complete, even after trying. You still feel like something is left behind. Third, you get that uncomfortable feeling of not being fully empty, as if your body did not finish the job properly. And here is what is important. Most people assume this is just normal constipation, so they try random changes like more fiber or waiting longer. But sometimes, those changes do not solve the real reason behind the feeling, and this is where things start to get interesting. Because what you think this means may not be what is actually happening inside your body. And in the next part, I'll show you the signs most people completely misunderstand for years, without realizing what their body is truly trying to say. You see, most people don't realize this. The body rarely sends one loud warning. It sends small, confusing signals first. And because they look normal, they get ignored. Let's go deeper into what is actually happening. Many people feel constipated. Even after trying everything, they drink more tea, they take more fiber, they wait longer, they even try home remedies, but nothing truly changes, and the immediate assumption is always the same. I just need more fiber, but let me gently pause you here. Sometimes the issue is not about adding more material into the system. It is about something already inside that is not moving out properly. Think of it like a sink drain. You can keep pouring water in, but if something is stuck deep inside the pipe, the flow will still stay blocked. In these situations, the feeling of constipation continues, not because nothing is happening, but because something is physically slowing the passage. A simple first step that often helps the body gently reset is warm fluids in the morning, light walking after meals, avoid sitting for too long without movement. These are not quick fixes, but they help your body regain natural rhythm. And this is important, because forcing things too much can actually make the discomfort worse. But what comes next is even more confusing. Some people notice something they feel embarrassed to talk about. Small stool leakage, or smearing. It is not always obvious at first. Sometimes it is just a slight stain. Sometimes it happens without warning. And most people immediately think, maybe it's just age, or weak control. But that is only part of the picture. Let me explain it simply. When something is not moving properly inside, pressure starts building behind it, and the body, trying to relieve that pressure, may release small amounts around the blockage. It is a bit like a traffic jam, where the cars at the back slowly start finding small side gaps. Because the main road is not clearing properly, this is not something to feel ashamed about. It is simply a signal from your body that flow is not smooth inside. A gentle action that helps here is, don't strain or push harder. Notice when it happens. Timing matters. Stay calm and avoid panic responses, because pushing too hard can increase irritation and discomfort. And now things start to become more uncomfortable, because these signs are not random anymore. They start forming a pattern your body repeats again and again. And in the next part, you'll see why that pattern matters more than most people realize. At this stage, things start to feel a little more uncomfortable, not dramatic, not sudden, but persistent, and harder to ignore. And this is where many seniors quietly begin to worry. Without saying it out loud, you feel like you need to go. But when you try, nothing really happens. The urgency is there, the effort is there, but the result is frustratingly incomplete, and you might sit there thinking, why is my body not responding properly? Let me explain this in a simple way. Think of your lower digestive system like a pipe when the pipe is clear. Everything flows smoothly, but when something is partially blocking it, pressure starts building behind the blockage, so your body keeps sending signals, release, release, release. But the exit is not fully open. That is why the urge feels strong. But the result feels weak. Now here is something very important. A gentle approach that often helps reduce strain is, drink warm fluids slowly, avoid rushing or forcing anything, sit in a relaxed posture instead of tension or pressure, because tension is one of the things that makes the body freeze even more, and when the body is already struggling, forcing it harder usually backfires. But what comes next is where people start to panic. You may also start noticing something that doesn't seem directly related at first. A strange heaviness in your abdomen, sometimes mild discomfort, sometimes a bloated feeling, and sometimes even a reduced interest in food. And the first thought is usually, this must be a stomach problem. But here's what many people don't realize. When things are not moving properly lower down, the effects can slowly travel upward too. It's like a blocked drainage system in a house. If the bottom outlet is clogged, water pressure doesn't just stay in one place. It affects the whole system, so your digestion may start feeling off overall. Even if the actual issue is lower down, a gentle thing that can help in this phase is light walking after meals. Avoid lying down immediately after eating. Keep the body gently active, not sedentary for long hours, because movement helps your internal system remind itself how to flow again. And now I want to pause here for a moment. If you've ever experienced this combination of symptoms, feeling blocked, pressure, and that strange incomplete feeling, just comment yes below. I really want to understand how many people quietly go through this without talking about it, because in the next part, things become much clearer, and you'll finally understand what is actually building up inside the body, even when it doesn't look obvious at first. Now we are reaching a very important part of this discussion, and I want you to listen closely because this is where everything starts to make sense. Sometimes the issue is not just slow digestion or normal constipation. What can actually happen is this. Stool can become too hard and too dry, and instead of moving out smoothly, it can become trapped in the rectum, the final part before the body releases it. And once it reaches that stage, it does not behave like normal digestion anymore. It starts to sit there, getting more compact and harder to pass with time. Let me explain it simply. Think of a tunnel with traffic. At first, everything is moving slowly, but then a blockage forms at the very end of the tunnel. Now all the vehicles behind it keep arriving, but nothing is leaving. So pressure builds up, confusion builds up, and movement becomes more and more difficult. That is similar to what can happen inside the rectum in this situation. And here is something very important to understand. At this stage, one of the worst things people do is sitting too long on the toilet, straining repeatedly with force, trying to push through it aggressively, because that often increases irritation instead of helping movement. A more helpful approach is stay calm, avoid long sitting strain, give the body gentle time instead of pressure. Sometimes the body responds better to calm signals than force, but the real problem is deeper than just constipation. When stool stays too long in one place, it can continue to lose moisture, and as it loses moisture, it becomes even harder. So now the situation becomes a cycle. Hard stool makes movement difficult. Difficulty leads to more delay. Delay makes stool even harder. And this loop slowly builds pressure inside the rectum. So what started as mild discomfort can gradually become a much more stubborn blockage over time, and the body begins to struggle more and more with each attempt. This is why early awareness matters so much, because the longer this cycle continues, the harder it becomes for the body to reset naturally. A simple but important action here is pay attention early when symptoms repeat. Don't ignore persistent incomplete feelings. Keep the body gently active instead of sedentary for long periods. Small steps taken early can make a big difference in how the system responds. And now we finally reach the most important part. The moment where everything becomes completely clear. Now we finally arrive at the part that brings everything together. And I want to explain this in the simplest, calmest way possible. No fear, no panic, just understanding. What we have been describing throughout this video is often related to a condition known as stool impaction in the rectum. Let me explain what that means in simple language. It is when stool becomes too hard, too dry, and too difficult to pass, and it gets stuck in the final part of the digestive system instead of being naturally released. At that point, the body cannot easily push it out on its own. And that is why earlier signs feel confusing. Because the system is trying to work. But there is a physical blockage slowing everything down. Now, the important question is, why does this happen in the first place? In most cases, it is not just one reason. It is usually a combination of things such as long-term constipation that was not fully resolved, not drinking enough water, leading to dry stool, weak or slower bowel movement with age, and over time these factors slowly build up, until stool becomes too firm to move normally. Think of it like a traffic jam at the final exit of a road. Everything behind it is still moving forward. Cars are still arriving. Pressure is still increasing. But the exit is completely blocked, so nothing can leave properly. That is exactly what is happening inside the rectum in this situation. Now I want to be very clear about something. This is not meant to create fear, but it is something that should not be ignored for too long, because when the blockage stays for an extended period, it can make discomfort more noticeable in daily life, increase pressure and fullness sensations, affect appetite and overall comfort. And this is why seniors experience it more often. Because digestion naturally slows with age, and hydration levels can also change over time. But understanding this is powerful, because once you know what is happening, you are no longer guessing. You can respond calmly and early instead of feeling confused or worried, now that you understand what is happening. The most important question becomes, what should you actually do next? To safely and gently support your body through this? And in the final part, I'll walk you through simple, practical steps that can help you regain comfort, confidence, and control again. Now that everything is clear, let's focus on what truly matters most, not fear, not worry, but simple, safe steps you can actually use in your daily life, because understanding something is only powerful when it helps you respond better to it. Let's start with hydration. Many seniors underestimate this. But your body needs enough water to keep things soft and moving smoothly inside. A simple routine can help. Start your morning with a warm glass of water. Sip fluids regularly throughout the day. Avoid long gaps without drinking anything. Warm fluids are especially helpful because they gently encourage natural movement in the digestive system. No force, just support. Your body is not designed to stay still for long periods. Even light movement can make a difference. Try simple habits like a short walk after meals, standing up every now and then during the day, gentle stretching if you feel stiff. Think of it like gently waking up your internal system. Movement helps everything inside stay active and responsive. Sometimes small changes in posture and timing can reduce strain. Sit calmly without rushing. Avoid forcing or straining. Give your body time instead of pressure. Try to stay relaxed instead of tense. Tension is one of the biggest reasons the body feels stuck. Calmness helps more than force ever will. Now I want to say this gently. If discomfort continues for several days, or becomes more intense, it is always wise to speak with a healthcare professional. There is no shame in it. In fact, it is a responsible step, because sometimes the body simply needs extra support to reset properly. I want you to remember something important. This is far more common than most people realize, especially in older adults. And it does not define you. It does not reduce your independence, and it is not something to feel embarrassed about the moment you understand what is happening. You are already ahead of the problem, because awareness brings control back into your hands, and that matters more than anything. So let me leave you with this thought. Your body is not working against you. It is simply asking for attention, a little care, a little understanding, and a little patience. That is often all it needs. If this helped you understand something important today, please consider subscribing for more simple, clear senior health guidance. And share this video with someone you care about, because many people experience this silently without ever talking about it. You may help them understand their body a little better. And if you want, you can also watch another video on screen right now for more helpful health insights. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.